Hello and welcome to this quite gloomy day. I have with me a book called Unsound, a book called Resurrection Walk, and a book called The Killer's Christmas List. A charming, festive story, perhaps. Let's save that for after Christmas, perhaps, because I'm not sure about you, but I think perhaps the scary part about this is how difficult Christmas is to cope with for all sorts of reasons. So we can read that if we survive Christmas in the real world. So all three were part of a £3 for £6 deal at the Works. This was the Northfield store, but presumably the Selly Oak store had the same offer on, or £2.50 each. Retail RRP was $9.99 for all three of these, so that's a massive saving. Books can drop in price quite quickly, although some books like Patrick Stewart's autobiography, which has not been out for maybe much longer than a year, is it about a year old? Maybe it is 2 years now, but it has dropped in price somewhat, both online and in stores like The Works and maybe WH Smith. I'm not sure about the latter so much. And so we are going to start by looking at Unsound. We have a nice, mostly black cover with a blurb, mention of university in Edinburgh. We have a very nice font. The colour is nice, the size is nice. Top centre, standard white colour for the author's name. And of course you have the sticker which we need to peel off to see what's underneath, but I believe two more reviews or taglines. Praise for Heather. So it's a very nice cover, I think. We've got the insignia there. We have a website, canalocrime.com. FSC, so sustainable paper, barcode, and now let us look at the blurb. So, he left for university and never came back. Aaron went missing in Edinburgh 14 years ago. The last time his parents saw him, he was withdrawn and on edge where he'd once been happy and carefree. Still searching for their son, they turn to their last hope, true crime podcaster Cal Levette. Cal begins looking for answers, but is distracted by his sister's murder trial. He's so close to getting the justice Margot deserves. Can he finally leave the past and Margot behind? As Cal unearths disturbing evidence about Aaron's fate, he suspects the young man's close-knit group of university friends are keeping secrets to protect each other. It seems old loyalties don't die easily, but they can't all stay silent forever. An exquisite series, according to Dominic Nolan. So, we have a little biography here. Heather Critchlow grew up in rural Aberdeenshire and trained as a business journalist after studying history and social science at the University of Cambridge. Her short stories have appeared in crime fiction anthologies Afraid of the Light, Afraid of the Christmas Lights, and Afraid of the Shadows. She lives in St Albans. So in the Cal Levette files, we have Unsolved, Unburied, and Unsound. So this is actually the third of a trilogy. I had no idea until now, but that's good. It's nice diving in and working out as you go. And if you're really attracted to it, of course, you end up looking for the earlier entries, which can be problematic if you're discovering a series decades later and they are long out of print. But in this case, I'm sure they're available online, if not in store. Some stores quite easily. First published in the UK in 2024. So that's Andrew Smith's cover design. Printed and bound in Great Britain by Clays Limited. And here's the dedication. For Will, Rachel and Adam. That's very nice. So let's look at the prologue. So, prologue, Edinburgh, Arran, 2010. He's not sure how long he's been unconscious, but when he wakes, it is still dark. The metal is like ice against his skin. It admits no forgiveness, offers no warmth. The pain in his leg is excruciating, and his body is stuck in the strangest position, as if he's fallen down a rabbit's hole and is looking at the darkness like Alice, standing on her head in that story his wee sister Kirsty loves. He doesn't know where he is. He throws his arms out, feeling only the cold, hard metal, and sets off a clanging, booming echo that deafens him. There is no right rabbit. Tears refuse to come, just a low keening like the cattle in the fields at home. He can almost smell the buyers and imagines himself on his early morning rounds atop a frozen blanket of snow, lulled by the crunch and squeak of his feet on the ice-scape. There he is, seen from above, filling the troughs, calling to the dogs, doing his father's bidding. Strange though, he can hear Kirsty playing her violin in the background, a sweet, clean sound in his ears. Maybe she's left a window open and the music is dancing out to him. He never did watch her play at Hogmanay. The failure to keep his promise is a sudden piercing regret. What he wouldn't give to be back there now, on the farm with them all, where he belongs. There is so much to tell them he's sorry for, but he's in Edinburgh and they are miles away, perched on the edge of the Highlands. It might as well be the moon. Aaron drops into unconsciousness for a time. It can't be long because it's still dark when he wakes. Above him he can see the bright, distant pinpricks of stars. He stopped feeling cold now, a crystal clear moment of soberness and pain. He needs to live. He needs to be able to tell them he's sorry. He shouts and thrashes, calls for help, but the sounds crash around him and he has no idea if they travel anywhere other than into his own head. He bites down on his lip and forces himself upwards, screaming with the mind-dissolving pain of it, using his fingernails to brace and pull. He's so weak after these past weeks, but he throws everything he's got into it, like a spider trying to climb out of a bottle. It isn't enough. His fingernails break and tear. The only warmth he feels is the blood where he rips them, adding a dull, aching agony to the rest of his shattered, stinking body. At what points do you give up? When the faces of the people you love no longer flash through your mind? When your body becomes so cold that it's impossible to move your limbs? When a flash of heat and delirium make you believe the sun is shining and the waves are tossing their foaming bodies to shore? When you start to see the funny side? Before dawn, he fancies he hears his name called, just once. He almost recognises the voice, and then it is gone. He opens his mouth to reply, but what's the point? Maybe he'll just sleep now. Maybe a dark sort of peace will come. Well, what do you think? I think that was a very interesting opening. We get a sense of the author's writing style, although it could always be switched up later on, but I imagine it will be fairly consistent in this book. Yeah, it's not totally unexpected given what little I knew about this book, just from the blurb. That's the only thing I had, but again, we were going to expect something like that, I suppose, but it was not boring. It was definitely not boring. Typical, familiar, but engaging enough. You can find yourself curious as to precisely what went wrong. How did he end up in this predicament? Is he a double agent, KGB agent? Is it what happened? And we know from the blurb that they are alluding to these university friends hiding secrets of some sort. So that will be interesting to read more. What do you think? Let me know. So thank you for listening or reading, watching. And if you've read this book already or are about to read it, then let me know if you're going to read it with me or what your thoughts were. But perhaps be careful with spoilers in the comments.